Hello, everybody. Welcome back to episode number 25 of the only show on YouTube that was granted total and complete access to the innards of my mind. The show called I Told You About This. I'm Brad Comjenick, your host. This is the show where I get way too excited about the things I love, and then I drag you along with me like an NPC who accidentally accepted a quest they weren't ready for. Today, oh man, my mind could not get off of the latest and greatest game. And I'm simply going to call this Breath of the Crimson Desert in Skyrim. We're talking about a game that has absolutely no business being this good. A game that grabbed me by the collar, threw me into the sand, and then whispered, "Figure it all out yourself, champ." Of course, this is Crimson Desert. And listen, I have been craving a game that 100% pays off just exploration. And it doesn't care about your feelings and absolutely dares you to get lost for as long as it takes and as long as you want to be there. If that's you, congratulations, because like me, you found your new obsession. Let's start with the thing that hit me immediately about Crimson Desert. It does not hold your hand or give you a path to follow at all. It's an open world at its perfection. And exploration and trial and error are the words of the day that explain this game to you. There's no glowing breadcrumb trail. Show me where to go, right? Hit R3 and show me where to go. Nope, nothing like that. There is one quest that does have yellow paint on the walls, but that's it. I've not found any more. Not saying there isn't more because there's no way that you could have completed this game by now, but I've not seen any. Most of the time, you can only know where you're going by an X on the map. And if that means you need to climb walls, jump into the wall, see if you can climb it. It's up to you. Again, you're not going to find any gimmies, no yellow paint that says, "Hey, climb here, bozo." There's no fairy yelling, "Hey, listen," to you and telling you what you need to do next. No Atreus going, "Dad, maybe you should look over here." See, the game drops you into its world and kills you immediately on purpose to set up the story. I mean, it literally kills you. And it gives you a vague sense of purpose and then kind of pushes you in the back and says, "Go on, the world's yours to explore and do it your way." And honestly, it's glorious, but only for the right type of player. Okay. I have seen so many reviews on this game. And initially everyone was like, "It's terrible." Right? And not terrible, but like they're saying mediocre at best. Mediocre at best, right? Like sevens out of tens, sixes out of tens. And obviously a few outliers that really liked it for what it was. And that's what I mean. If this is your type of game, if you're an old school gamer like me, right? That grew up on the Atari 2600 and moved through every system since then. We didn't have our hands held. We didn't have yellow paint on the wall. We didn't have hit the breadcrumb trail and show me where to go. You figured it out on your own. Friends, I played so many dungeon crawlers where I had to have a piece of grid paper beside me, and I had to draw out the map to figure out where to go. There was no mini map. At least Crimson Desert gives you a map, and a fine map at that, by the way. But I mean, I can totally understand where so many reviewers today, particularly if you're the younger generation, won't like this game at all. Now, also, are there? I mean, I'm not looking at this through rose-tinted glasses. Are there problems with this game? Absolutely. Are there problems with every game? Absolutely. Right. But it's what you're willing to put up with. I've heard so many people decry the Assassin's Creed games. Look at there's just too much. It's just too much. Friends, how can you have too much to do in a game? Now, maybe what they're really saying is, well, I don't mind that there's a lot to do, but some of it is samey. Like, go find these feathers, right? Or go to this tower so you can see all the map, and I have to do that 100 times. Sure, that can get repetitive, right? And does this game have that? Some things you are going to do, but a lot of it, friends, is different, wholly different. And you'll see what I mean by when we get to the end of the episode. But that's what I mean. This game is not for everybody, and know that right off the bat. You must love exploration. You must love just looking down a cliff and seeing that there's a ledge there and going, I'm going to jump on it. See if there's anything around there. Because in this game, 7 times out of 10, there's something there. Even if it's something just lying on the ledge that you can pick up and go sell to someone at a higher price than most vague items. But sometimes there's an opening and you go through, and now you're off on some magical quest. Okay. So again, let me just be clear on this. If you require a distinct path in your games and you want combat to be as easy as possible, and you are not someone who enjoys spending hours and hours and hours exploring a world the way you want to, a world like none other you've seen today, this game's not for you because it's the total opposite of all that. You want to know how to climb that cliff? Figure it out. Hint, hint, it's exactly like Breath of the Wild. Jump into it and move up. You can literally climb most things, but again, you need stamina like Breath of the Wild. So what does that tell you right away? Okay, most of us have already played or seen Breath of the Wild, so that tells you right away if you're using the old noggin. If I'm playing this game, I'm probably going to want to beef up my stamina first if I see a skill tree. Sure enough, there's a skill tree. Sure enough, there's stamina there. See? Think for yourself. Don't let the game think for you. There's much more to be had when you do something, like you find something or you beat a quest when you did it on your own, right? It's like painting your own home and then stepping back and looking at it and going, that's amazing. Look what I did. Or giving somebody $2,000, $5,000 and they did it and they go, yeah, they did it. It looks beautiful, but it also cost me $5,000, right? Do it yourself. See, you also want to know why that giant stone door has 12 rotating rings covered in symbols and what you exactly have to do with that? Good luck, pal. That's on you to figure out what to do with it. But I promise if you do, it's going to pay off. You're going to get something cool. You want to know why the villagers keep whispering about that thing that shows up at night behind the dunes? If you actually just don't run everywhere you go and you walk by and you listen to people, they'll tell you, oh, you should go to the dunes because there's something there. But you will figure it out eventually, hopefully. If something else doesn't grab your attention on the way to the dunes, which if you're me, it always does. Look, let me be frank. This game is not a traditional RPG as you know them to be. Okay. This is way more in line with action games that have some RPG elements like a skill tree to it. Um, but where it lacks in the RPG tropes, it more than makes up for with the tons and tons and tons and tons of exploration and other systems and things that you can interact with in the game. Listen closely. I said systems and not mini games. A lot of people get those mixed up. This game has mini games. Don't get me wrong. It has a lot of them. Some fun, some not. That's that's the way with any game. But there are systems here that this game will give you some tutorialization about, but it's not always the greatest, and it's not doesn't always tell you everything about it because again, it pays to explore and do on your own. And honestly, leaning into these systems makes Crimson Desert feel richer, deeper, and more alive than any other game I've played to date. Honestly. So let's talk about some of these systems that I've seen so far. Get this, you're walking along and you're just going through and you see pets, and there's tons of them, tons and tons. Here's a white spotted greyhound. Here's a some other kind of mutt. Here's some cats, right? You see various animals in the world, goats, and you can interact with almost all of them, either picking them up or petting them and feeding them. And when you do, you'll notice at the top of the screen in the upper left that your relationship with them grows. That's pretty cool. But you can only do that so much each day, right? You can't just spam it. When you hit a specific level of relationship with them, they can actually become a companion for you. And you can actually consider them to be a pet familiar that will go along with you on your quests. And get this, friends, they will literally go pick up items for you in the world. Go buy a flower, they'll pick it up. Go buy some timber that they can literally lift. They're not going to get a whole log because realistically they can't lift that. But if there's small timber, they'll pick that up. Kill a body, they'll loot it for you. Where else have you seen that? What other game does that, right? You know, I can remember a game a while back that used to have pets that you could put all of your inventory into, and then they would go back. They would leave you for a while, go back home, sell them, and bring you back the gold. Okay, I mean that was cool and innovative for its time. But how about a pet that will literally pick things up for you, right? It just makes the game easier. What types of pets? Well, so far I've seen like desert hounds. They track hidden items and warn you of ambushes. If somebody's coming at night, friends, at night this game gets dark. You have a lantern and you can carry torches, but when I say dark, it's pitch black. You can barely see your hand in front of your face. But if you have a familiar, they'll bark when things are near or screech or whatever. I've seen sand owls. These scout ahead and they'll mark enemies and retrieve small loot. I've seen burrowing lizards that dig up buried caches and puzzle clues, and even mini drakes, which are rare and they're semi mythical companions, and they have combat abilities. Again, pets have loyalty and stamina. It's crazy. Their loyalty increases through feeding and grooming and just loving them, loving on them. And each pet has unique passive bonuses: movement speed, puzzle hints, stealth protection. And they can be lost if you mistreat them or you overwork them. It's it's like a it's like it's real. Why does that matter? Because they're not just cosmetic like in every other game. Can you pet the dog? Who cares? What if the dog would do things for you if you took care of it? They're core to exploration and to puzzle solving and survival. Some will even join you in battle if you get their level up high enough. Let's move on. Let's talk about the buying and the merchant system. Okay. Crimson Desert's economy is intentionally opaque. The game never tells you what anything should cost because it has dynamic pricing. Every town has its own supply and demand curve. If you buy more of something, you will affect the price of it. If you never buy things, that affects the price of it, as well as other people. For instance, if there's a major building in town that, let's say, some thieves have taken over, if you go and knock the thieves out of town, then it gets reoccupied by townspeople, and therefore there's more people buying things, and prices can go down then. So, see how the systems interplay. It's cool. Prices also shift by time of day and even the weather. If it's raining, go buy things because there's hardly anyone out shopping that day. Also, local political stability, monster activity around, and has a trade caravan not been able to get to town so that they can restock. There's haggling in the game, but if you push too hard, merchants might even blacklist you. Like, I'm not selling you anything. Your expectations here are unrealistic. It's so neat. You don't even have to speak to a merchant to buy things. You can literally buy things right off of the racks or the shelves or the tables. Walk up, see it, it says buy it for this amount, and you do. So if you don't want to talk to the merchant, you don't have to. Hint, talk to the merchants. Give them gifts. Prices go down. Relationships start growing. And they may give you quests. It's all up here. The game never tells you that. But doesn't it just make sense that if I'm nice to people and if I give them gifts, they'll be nicer to me? Now, there's a black market, and it's hidden in major cities, right? It has illegal spices and forbidden relics and maps and stolen artifacts. Friends, there's a stock market system in this game. This is one of the wildest systems in Crimson Desert, and kind of one of the most fun if you actually know how to work it and are willing to work it. Each major city has a trading hall. You can invest in caravans, mining operations, merchant guilds, local farms, and regional defense forces. And events affect prices. A sandstorm will destroy crops, therefore agricultural stocks crash. If you clear out a bandit camp, caravan stocks will rise because the caravan can get by the bandit camp. Fail a quest that protects a mine, and mining stocks plummet. You influence this world. Save a caravan, profits go up. Ignore a monster threat, profits go down, lose money. Discover a new resource that no one's ever found. The entire region's economy will shift. This is a living, reactive economic simulation within a game. Have you ever seen that anywhere else? Let's talk about other major systems. Of course, you have a reputation system, which I've already talked about. Every faction tracks trust, fear, respect, and infamy, and your choices will ripple across the world. There's crafting and alchemy. There's deep, multi step recipes that require some rare herbs, monster parts, and environmental reagents like sand glass or storm water, etc. There's regular water that you can get, but there's storm water that's different because it hits something above you. Like Breath of the Wild. There's settlement influences, right? When you actually build your own settlement in the story later on, and then you can fund repairs and hire guards and improve trade routes, and then send your own people, the Greymanes, they're called the Greymanes, out on missions that they'll come back and bring resources to. Then you can go back to that camp and you'll be stocked up on food, things which heal you. There's weather and survival. Like I said, later on, you can actually die of a heat stroke. Have you ever heard that in a review yet? I've not, but I found it. There's sandstorms, there's freezing nights, and they all have gameplay consequences. There's a mount system. You can mount horses, camels, rams, rare mythical beasts, bears. And each of those you bond. They have gear, their skills, and they even have their own temperaments. Okay, Brad, there's tons and tons of systems. I get it. I've already heard that. And many of them, nothing's explained to me. Exactly. Have fun figuring it out. These are deep, complex systems that make this world alive, like nothing you've ever played. Have fun in it. It is a sandbox. Everybody says Grand Theft Auto is a sandbox. Bleh. Not really. It's just a chaos simulator at best. This is a world, friends. This is a world. There's nothing cooler than putting on a mask that you got by killing a bandit and then going into someone's home and they have this chest, right? And you open up the chest and there's this rare jewelry that they found. And you go to the black market and you sell it. Then you come back to the black market at night with your mask on and you steal it from them. And then you go back to where you stole it from and you said, "Friend, I heard you say you had lost this jewelry. Could this be yours?" You ever done that in a game before? No, I hadn't either. Friends, you can learn skills simply by watching people do things. I learned how to fish by watching someone fish. I learned that as I was striking someone, they would roll away from it to take half damage. I learned that by watching them. When you go to a merchant, it'll have the name of things, but a question mark by it. But when you actually look at it, it fills in a picture of what the thing is. You learn things by looking at them and seeing them. You'll learn recipes by reading them and then going out and getting the ingredients and cooking them yourselves. And finally, there's a fast travel system. Fast travel points, unfortunately, are rarely ever where you think they should be in this game, but the developers are working on that. And I think in a few more patches, you'll have quite a few more than you currently have. For example, the first one I found was kind of outside the town I was going to, which I had to get on my horse and ride back into town from there. I thought, why am I not in the middle of town? I always need to go back to the middle of this town to restock and everything. And now there's one there, right? They've already done that. And friends, do you like a puzzle? Do you like puzzles in your games? Well, if you like, if you like puzzles in your games, for instance, here's one. And what we see here is the player themselves is kind of lost. You have this grappling hook thing, and you have to hit this jewel right dead center in the middle of it. And see, he's off to the side, so it's not really working. When he hits it dead center, he can turn that, and you have to turn it just right so that the light turns white and the thing glows, and then these puzzles will start, or pieces will start floating in so that you can start a jumping puzzle to get to somewhere else that you need to be. And friends, that's only one type of puzzle. There's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of puzzles in this game so far, and I'm not even a third of the way done. And they're clearly not all copy and paste. Friends, as a kid or in other games, you've seen those moving square puzzles where one piece is missing and it makes a picture. I played one of those, right? There are puzzles. Have you ever seen Squid Games, red light, green light, where when the thing is looking away from you, and that's green light, so you can move and you can move forward. But when it turns around, red light, you have to stop. And if it sees you move, you lose, right? It was a game many of us also played in like early grade school, pre-kindergarten, kindergartens, things like that. First grade, second grade. Yeah, it's in here. That's in here. There are puzzles that range from, oh, that's really clever and so easy. And there's other puzzles that say, I need a notebook, a pen, a corkboard, and possibly a support group because it's so hard. Now, obviously, we live in the world of the internet. So you can literally go to YouTube and find the name of the puzzle and say, how do I do this? And you're going to find the video that shows you. But why ruin it? Friends, don't ruin it. Use the noggin. Try. At least try. Would you do that for me? Just try. You can figure these things out, right? You can figure them out on your own, just like this person does here, right? And like there's there's multiple ways to do things. Like you can jump just by jumping, or you can hold in a bumper button to get this blue dot, put it somewhere, hit another button, and you'll jump to that dot. There's like 7 ways to do everything in this game, right? So just because you can't seem to figure it out the first time, try different things. Some puzzles are environmental. Shadows lining up at a sunset, wind patterns shifting sand dunes into clues and shapes that you'll use in completely other puzzles. Some are mechanical, rotating ancient machinery that feels like it was designed by a bored god with too much time on their hands. Some are logic puzzles that made me question whether I'd ever actually been intelligent in my entire life. There was even, like I mentioned, one of those 9 square picture puzzles, and I hate those things. I can never figure out how to do them. I actually was walking around town, and there was a kid, and he was playing with other kids, and I walked by and listened to him, and they were telling me, oh, did you know, have you ever seen these puzzles? Look, my mom made me this puzzle. This other kid said, I hate those. I don't know how to do them. And he goes, well, here's the trick. You move this, and then if you just keep doing that, and the puzzle will go. I went back to that puzzle, and I did it. There's a trick to it, and someone even told me. And the best part, the game never even tells you which puzzles matter. You might spend 45 minutes solving a puzzle only to discover it gives you a chest containing an apple. And it's just an apple. You can cook it or eat it raw. Doesn't really matter. Or you might kick a random rock and accidentally unlock a hidden temple that contains a legendary weapon. It's chaos. It's beautiful. And to me, it's addictive. Let's talk combat. This is something so many people have said, I cannot stand it. I cannot stand it. And here's why. There's actually a graphic that's out there that you can view, and it shows you like there's more moves here than in any fighting game you've ever seen. And you're going to continually learn them. I'm 1/3 of the way through, and I think there's 40 some moves I can already do in battle. And many of them require, okay, hold down your right bumper button for light attack, tap it. Or if you want to do a combo, hold it. Or you can do left button or right button, right trigger, okay, and that'll do like a weak, strong attack. But if you hold both of them down, it'll do the massive combo. Or you can hold down the bumper and hit X, or tap X and it does something. Or hold down the bumper and hold X, it'll do something completely different. You see what I mean? And who's going to remember all that? Look, I get it. I know. But it's what you put into the game is what you're going to get out of it. You see, this is where Crimson Desert goes from, oh, this is neat, to, oh, this normal dude combat is straight up Batman Arkham Asylum type combat. There's a flow to it. You're constantly surrounded and being attacked. I've yet just walked across and had one single person I had to fight. And it never stops. Enemies come at you from every angle. And the game expects you to flow, not fight. Flow, just like you do in the Batman Arkham games. You punch one dude, maybe a couple of times. You jump into the air and slam down into the ground because that's a move you saw somebody else do and you learned it, and it knocks everybody off of their feet. Then you can multiple stab people and kill them. You slide over to another dude, you slice him into pieces, then back up into the air, find the next dude and do your power punch on him, like almost like a Hadouken with no fireball. You're just hitting them, and this green energy comes around and knocks them back. Totally takes the wind out of them. You can kill them. Then jump up into the air, jump down, and skewer another dude. Rinse and repeat until everybody's dead. That is fun combat. It's not just, oh, hold down X and I whack my sword like this and I killed the skeleton. No, let's have fun. Let me make it as complex as I want it or as easy as I want it. Because sometimes, let me tell you, after I played this game 5 hours, I run into 8 bandits. I'm just doing the combos. I'm not doing the flippity floppity do, kill everybody around me. I'm like, I just really want to get through this so I can finish this. There's times like that. But you have that ability, see? You dodge one guy, you parry another, you flip over a third, you throw sand in the fourth guy's eyes, and then you finish with a spinning slash that would make Batman go, hey, look, calm down. Calm down. Okay, boss battles. Boss battles are hard as steel balls and relentless as all get out. That's just the way they are. Some of the bosses require the patience of Job. You are going to die, okay? And you'll die again and again and again and again. You'll die so many times, you'll start naming the loading screen tips out of spite. I get it. I know. And what can be worse is that there's often lengthy cutscenes that introduce you to the boss that you must sit and watch every single time. That's a downer in this game. I understand. That's what makes you want to work harder to kill that dude. And look, let me give you a little hint. What most people don't get with this game is food is your friend. You want to be killing as many animals as you can, or if you have the copper or silver, go into town and just buy some bad meat, whatever the cheapest meat is, right? And go cook it till you have like 80 pieces of meat or grain or store, and then go to the boss and then just spam eat, 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 eat. For me, it's right on my directional pad. Eat, eat every 2 seconds, eat, and you just watch eat, eat. Your health keeps going up and going up. And then you can take him on. I see so many people trying to do all the flippity doos and all this, and they get the guy halfway killed, and they've never even tried to eat or do anything with their health. And then they say, "Oh, it's just too hard." No, it's not. It's not. I've not come across the boss yet I couldn't beat, but I never beat them on the first try. It was probably the 50th try. Okay. Now, I've heard so many people over these past years talk so much about Elden Ring and and the Souls games, and oh my gosh, you just have to keep at it and you'll finally get it. And when they start to play this game and the bosses are hard, too hard, too hard. Come on. Come on. It's the same thing. Oh, but the combat's too hard. There's 50 different things. I know exactly what I need. Yeah, because you figured out that you can cheese bosses in Elden Ring. I know, I did it myself. Roll, 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 roll. Stab, 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 stab. Roll, 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 roll. You can do that. Sure. Absolutely you can. But here, it's a puzzle that you figure out. Okay, this guy comes at me and he shoots blue things at me, and then he comes at me in a 1, 2, 3 pattern, and then he takes a breath. And when he takes a breath, that's when I power punch him and I knock all the wind out of him. And I do my 3-hit combo, jump up in the air, stab him down, run back, and eat, 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 and I'm ready to go. Rinse and repeat that about 20 times, and he's dead. And when you finally beat them, when you finally land that last hit, it feels like you won the frickin' Super Bowl or you cured a disease and you paid off your mortgage all at the same time, right? Okay, enough about combat. Let's talk about this world a little bit more. Crimson Desert is one of the most beautiful games you're ever going to see. People are saying, but the base PlayStation 5 and the 30 frames per minute and 60 frames. Who cares? Who cares? The average person has such bad eyesight anyway that most of it's not going to matter. And anyway, I haven't seen this game when it wasn't beautiful on a PC with low specs. It's even more beautiful with a PC with high specs. Looks great on the PS5. This is a beautiful game. This is a game where you are going to take screenshots. I don't take screenshots in games. I have so many screenshots of this game. Not because you want to, also because you just have to. It's so beautiful. The sunsets look like they were painted by angels. The sandstorms that you see or the snowstorms feel alive. The mountains in the distance, yeah, you can climb those. And you will climb those. And the things that you find in the nooks and the crannies will make it all worth every second you spend. This is such a finely tuned and handcrafted world that these developers knew that if they were playing the game, what would they want to find if they had just spent 10 minutes making this impossible climb and almost getting out of stamina, but then there's a ledge and I can stand on it and get my stamina back and I can go. And whatever they themselves would have wanted to find, whatever awesome thing is there, they put it there for you to find. It's a wonder. Here's the twist. It's the things you can't see in this game that will consume your life. For instance, I was trying to make a jump off of a platform um, to try to get up to not necessarily a platform. I was on the roof of a building. I was trying to get to another building so I could jump across to another building, and I missed. I missed the jump. It was on me, right? I know how this game moves. I missed the jump, and I fell down. I fell into a bale of hay, and then I disappeared. And I'm like, oh my gosh! I just taught myself. This is like Assassin's Creed. I can hide in the hay. I didn't know that. Many times, if you're stealing and you get caught, you're just had in this game. No, there's these bales of hay everywhere. Or that wagon that I was in, I noticed I couldn't see myself till I set up because it had a bunch of supplies in it. The game auto hides you in places like that. Also, I was going around in one quest where I had to find iron ore, and I was looking for ore deposits up on this rock wall, and I noticed there was this dark area up there. So I climbed up there and climbed up there, and sure enough, there was a crevice that I could shimmy through. And when I did, there was a skeleton mural up on the wall, and the skeleton's face was turned to the side, and he had broken teeth. And I looked a little bit closer, and there was an awesome weapon hanging out of his mouth. I would have never have known that. Never, unless I looked and did the exploration. By the way, friends, when I mentioned, when I call this Breath of the Crimson Desert, it's like Breath of the Wild. There's a whole world up above you called the Abyss, and you'll be there at the start of the game, by the way. It puts you there. And you're gonna jump off of it and go right into the old game world. But because just like our old friends, Breath of the Wild and Elden Ring, there's a world below you too. Is anybody even telling you about that yet? That's why I'm your buddy. That's why it pays to jump into my mind each and every week. Hidden caves, buried ruins, secret oases, entire underground cities. You'll be on your way to a quest and you'll suddenly see some weird rock formation and think, that looks suspicious. And goodbye to that quest. Congratulations. You just lost the next 3 hours of your life. Now, one of my favorite things about this game, as I've already told you many times, though, in different ways, is just how much it feels alive. NPCs won't wait for you. They don't orbit around you like you're the sun. They have jobs, they have routes, they have routines, they have things they're going to do. They like to gamble, they like to shop, they like to eat. They have arguments that you can overhear. I once followed a merchant for like, I don't know, maybe 5 minutes just to see where he was going. And turns out he was meeting someone behind a tavern to sell illegal spices. Did the game tell me to follow him? Was it a quest? No. Did I gain anything from it? Oh, yeah. And it was amazing because I learned there's an illegal spice trade. Now, what I can do is go beat that merchant up and take him over to the cops, tell him what I found, and he'll go to jail and I'll get a nice little reward. Or I can grab him, punch him, get him on the ground, and then talk to him and say, well, I can either turn you in or you can pay me. What do you want to do? This world is my oyster. It's my oyster. And I did that very thing multiple times in multiple ways in my playthrough that I've done so far. And almost every time it pays off wildly. I'm not going to ruin these moments for you here any more than what I've done, but needless to say, if someone looks or is acting suspicious, it may just pay to see what they're up to. Now, I mentioned mini games. I know episode's going long, so I need to hurry. Mini games, fishing, sand sled racing, beetle wrangling, arm wrestling, cooking competitions, ancient rune deciphering. I mentioned arm wrestling, the stock market, dice betting, on and on and on. And every mini game feels like it could be its own indie title. There's wrestling. They're just playing up wrestling like WWE. And every time you'll say, I'm just going to try this once and move on. And 3 hours later, you're questioning your life choices. So here's the big question. Is Crimson Desert the greatest game of all time? Honestly, for me, right now, in this moment, it's the greatest action RPG I've ever played. It's not even close. Is it perfect? No, no, no. Of course it's not. There's a lot of problems, and people are having some bugs with the game as well. It's not perfect. It's not easy either. But all you Elden Ring heads out there, I don't want to hear this, that it's too hard. This game isn't 1/5 as hard as Elden Ring. Trust me. Your early battles and things, you're going to be slicing and dicing through people. And once you begin to find better equipment, the bosses become nothing. These bosses that you were taking 50 chances for, if you went through another playthrough, you would have the armor and everything, and you would have your skills built up to a fact that they'd be like a fly. You know, this game does something that few games dare to do anymore. It trusts you. It trusts you to explore, to fail, to learn, and it trusts you to get lost and love every second of it. Crimson Desert is a game that respects your intelligence, your curiosity, and of course, your time, even when it's stealing all that time. And that's why, for me, Crimson Desert isn't just a game, it's an experience, it's a journey. It's a world that feels alive in so many ways that's rare and special. And if you let it, it'll absolutely take over your life too. Like I said, to me, this game is the sum total of its parts, and I love almost all the parts. I mentioned the Squid Games game that was in there. When I found that, I was like, "Oh my god!" I was just looking at this statue, and it turned its head, and then it turned it back around, and turned its head again, and then turned it back around, and I'm like, "Well, I'm not moving or doing anything." And then just immediately, the whole Squid Games thing came. I was like, "Is it playing red light, green light?" There are golden apples in this game. Friends, you can't see them. So how do you know they're there? Well, maybe if you look in a certain place, you might find a book or literature or a note or even someone talking about golden apples and how you can't see them, but you are 100% going to want to have a lot of them, and this game doesn't tell you how to find them. I'm not going to tell you either, but when I found it, it was amazing. All of my social media feeds are chock full of people now posting the myriad of number of secrets and tips that they've all found. And remember, this game started off with a very low rating. It's all the way up now, 3 4 days later, to an 8.5. And every time I see someone post something like that on my socials, I screenshot it because I may have found it, I may not have found it. And that way I can go back and find these things that they're finding. Sure, this game isn't perfect and it does need a lot of work, but so does everything else in life. So why miss out on such an amazing experience because the combat is so expansive and takes some getting used to. And everybody says there's no story here. Tell me what the story of Elden Ring is. Go on. Name me any character that you found that wasn't a boss or a major NPC. You can't and you don't, and there's no story, and it doesn't matter. And friends, the guy that did Game of Thrones supposedly wrote that. Okay, story here doesn't matter either. You died, you came back, you're supposed to rebuild the Greymanes. That's all. Friends, but here's a world, go explore it. This game plays and rocks, and the world is so massive, and there's so many things people are complaining about that just don't matter that it seems crazy to me. Right now, I have Pokemon Pocopia, Resident Evil Requiem, Death Stranding 2 now on the PC, and many other games that have come out. Crimson Desert has been on my mind all since I got it. It's all I can play, and it's going to have my time going forward, and I hope it will for you too. All right, friends, this has been the Have I Told You About This show, and now I've told you all about Crimson Desert. Once again, if you would, just please take a minute to like and subscribe and comment below. Let me know all the things that you think about Crimson Desert that you've seen so far. Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me the combat's so bad no one should ever play it. Tell me that the waterfalls don't look good enough, right? But also, if you are playing it and you love it like I do, would you please share the cool things that have happened in your game? I'd love to hear them. All right, I'm Brad Komjenik. I'll see you next time. Probably after I finish solving that puzzle I found behind that awful looking waterfall that I had to stab to clear the water to get behind that I definitely wasn't supposed to find just yet. All right, friends. Thank you for your time. Love to all. Be safe. I'll see you next time.